Welcome back. I'm Shireen with Olive Street Designs, and today we are working on these oversized nightstands. I just love a nightstand that's an unusual size or shape, and these are both. They're large, half moon, and they have a bit of an unusual texture. I know it's wood grain, but it's kind of severe wood grain, and these, I don't know. Every time I see those, all I can look at is nipples. I can't unsee it now. But these are just a really great design, and those, they've just got to go. So removing hardware is the first order of business today, and they are not necessarily even nice. They're not solid or anything. They're just aluminum, and I think they look like nipples, so those are getting removed. And then you'll see I'm numbering my nightstand, and I'm calling it A, and I'll make all the drawers 1A, 2A, 3A, etc. because not only do they like to be in the place that they want to be in, but in the right nightstand. So whenever I'm working on nightstands, I call 1A, 1B, and I continue to find more little treasures. And just getting everything clean, and again, more stuff. These are pretty dusty. I've had them for a bit, so they've been in the workshop for a while and they get covered with dust, but I'm also cleaning off anything that the owner may have put on their polishes and things. And gave them a good vacuum, and I thought I was going to wipe this out inside, but then I got some cleaner on there and I went to wipe it out, and it was like Velcro to my microfiber towel. So the inside of this did not get sanded down and finished, and although it looks dusty, it's really not. It's just the texture. So I'm going to leave that alone. Got everything else wiped down, gave it a good scrubbing, and then once it all dried, it's time to start scuff sanding. Now, originally when I bought these on Facebook Marketplace, I had an idea of, I like to take things that are dark and make them light. But these actually were chosen out of my inventory, and we're going to turn them around into something different. And I really need to address this area on top. So you can see this one had a huge scratch. It's also got a couple of little bumps, which tells me there's probably a little something that may have swollen in the substrate that's poking through. So I'm spending some extra time here working on those, and you can see that I'm just rubbing over it to make sure everything's smooth. And I like to kind of create a little valley so that I can fill that in. So I do sand that quite a bit. And this grain is so heavy that I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and start just filling things in. So first of all, I need to address this huge scratch. Somebody dragged something across the top. And then all of these other areas where I have sanded down through the veneer to the substrate, that's got to get covered up or it just never looks quite right. And then I got to looking at this wood grain and I thought, you know what, once I get these painted, that's not going to look very good either. I don't mind it on the rest of the piece. On the front and the sides and the drawers and things, it doesn't bother me. But on the top, now that I have filled in a couple of areas, one being with the scratch and that other area, those would be smooth and everything else have a lot of grain. So it makes sense to just go ahead and float the whole top of this, make it all smooth, and then it won't stand out at all and actually will look better. I think they look more modernized when they don't have that real heavy wood grain. That heavy wood grain looks like something that was pressed into the veneer. It's not natural and, a little overwhelming. I think it's pretty distinct. So I did the same process on the other one, just got it scuff sanded and then went ahead and did that. Now you're wondering, why did you scuff sand before you're going to float the whole thing? I feel like the filler just kind of grips in there a little bit better. Now I noticed an area on one of these little guides on the side was loose, and thankfully it had not come detached, so I could detach it and put it back on. I'm glad that it wasn't lost in transport. But I got some glue on there, and after a couple of tries with the right clamps, I was able to get that on there and secured so that it will come back together and be functional. Okay, moving on to the drawers. This is going to be a quick one. They're just going to get scuff sanded. But these areas where those large knobs were, they kind of pressed into the wood and they made an indentation, and the new knobs that are going on will not be that big, and so you'll see that indentation if I don't fill it in. So I'm using the same putty to fill that in. This putty is great. Now you could just do this with wood filler, of course, but I really like this putty better. And I like it better because if you go to wipe these down with a wet rag, you will wipe off some of your wood filler because it's water soluble This is not. This has an alcohol base to it, so when you wipe it down with your damp cloth to clean it, it doesn't wipe it away, but look at all the grain that got filled in from that. That is going to look so much better painted. So here I am with a damp microfiber towel, just getting everything all cleaned up. They have got to get ugly before they get pretty, and those are looking ugly, but that's about to change. So into the tent we go. And these again are large, so I set up the large tent so that I had some room to move around. And just getting on a good coat of primer. Now this is my normal primer. It looks white going on, but it is tinted gray. The white primer works absolutely fine. I just prefer to use gray. I think it has some better coverage. And now you can see as we spray that grain is just going away. It's just a really fun technique to really change some texture. I'm going to let that sit with the fan in front of it and dry for a couple of hours. Now that it's dry, it's time to sand, and I'm using a squishy sanding sponge. Now my sponge, I've been using this sponge for probably 2 years. It started out as 320, believe it or not. I imagine this thing is 600 or grit or something by now. It does not take a lot of grit to sand the primer smooth. It's really, like, some people even just use a brown paper bag and rub across it, which you could do. I prefer to have a round or the soft sanding sponge just because it goes around all the rounded areas a little bit better. And I noticed there were a couple of areas where I felt like I was still going to be able to see them once I painted, so I filled it in for a second time. And now I am hand sanding this. I find when I'm using a sanding block, I have a little more control over how smooth it can get, how much of the material I'm taking away. And now I feel like that is going to be good to go. Once you paint it, you'll never see it. Bohld Black, this is our color. I'm straining it because I'm using the end of the can. If it's a fresh can and I open it, I don't always strain it. But when I've opened it a couple of times, look at all those little bits that are in the strainer. Those clog your sprayer. So you always try to strain it if you can. And we are ready to go. All right, this is such a beautiful, gorgeous, really dark black. It's one of the reasons I love it. Plus, I love this paint. It is an all-in-one paint, although I am priming and top coating, but you could use it as an all-in-one. It's a fabulous paint. It dries really fast and it hardens quickly. But just a really striking black color. Now, it's funny that they were black, but the weird thing about the way that they were black was that grain stood out so much, but look at it now. That grain is not so prominent. And in between coats, I always touch up the tops and sides of the drawers. And of course, touching up what was black with more black, but it's just fully refreshed and looking new again. So I'm going to give it another quick sanding in between coats because I want my paint to be buttery smooth. And a second coat of paint. Now I'm going to tint my top coat. And this is how I tint it. It's so simple. I just dump out what's in my canister, put that paint away, and then I'm going to put top coat right into my canister. And the residual paint that's in there, as I swirl this around, tints the top coat. And that makes the top coat go on so smoothly, and you don't see the contrast of the white. It helps everything blend. Beautiful. Get everything top coated. I did several coats of that, so it's very durable. And then when I took the drawers out again, I just felt like I wanted to have a nice straight line across this. And again, you can see the difference now from what was previously painted black to my black. See how it has that white in the grain? That was intentional from the manufacturer, but I want it to be solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a fresh coat, and I put the tape in there so I have a nice straight line. And that will just really touch things up so that if somebody ever takes a drawer out, it also looks good behind the drawer. I did the sides of the drawers. I did the insides of the drawers. When they were already in black, I needed to do everything. We're installing some new hardware. This is a definite upgrade to what was there before. Let's take a quick look back at where we started. And here we are now. These are just beautiful, just lovely and refreshed, and they look all brand new again. Probably better than they ever did before because they don't have that intentional two-tone wood grain. It's so smooth and modern and beautiful. And that would have been what it looked like, but now you can see how smooth the top is. I hope you like it. Be sure to follow for more.